Hey everybody, welcome back to Daytime. Angela Dacey is here. She is a self-discovery expert here in York Region, and really there is nobody better to talk to about moving on from the last year. A lot of people look back at the last year and sort of dwell on it if they had a bad year, but you shouldn't be doing that.
Well,
or should you?
Yeah, you know what? I kind of think you should, to be honest.
Okay.
I had a funny line on my Facebook, you guys might have seen it, that said, the optimist stays up to midnight to ring in the new year, but the pessimist stays up to make sure the old year goes away.
Yeah, yeah.
It's true.
And I have to admit, even I kind of felt like the pessimist this year, because I think it's really good to go back and take a look at the year and say, like, some people, that was a hell of a year, and what happened and why?
Yeah.
And what did I learn from it? If we try to avoid and ignore, then I just think the universe is just going to smack us with more lessons.
Oh, that's true.
You don't get anywhere by running from stuff.
Exactly.
Because I'm writing again, so one of the things I was talking about is you look back, but then you spend 10 time on the past, 10% on the future, and 80% right now.
Oh, I like that.
Right?
Oh, that is good.
Because most people, I mean, they don't appreciate anything right now. Do you think that maybe the best way to sort of enjoy your life and begin to sort of get those positive emotions is to actually recognize you're sitting on a couch right now, you know, you're doing sort of
You
your
should
life?
sit here because you're bang on.
That's
Jeff.
amazing. Yeah.
No, it's so true. How many times do we not live in the present, you know? And that's where I like to say children are great at teaching us to live in the present. If you really are a past future person, go take a look at a 6-year-old. They are so present moment, it's insane, right? And they really will teach you on how to just like focus on what you're doing right now. And I agree, that's one of our downfalls is we seem to be a past and future. What happened last year, what's going to happen this year instead of what's going on today. And really we need to recognize, I think, the crap that happens so we can find that beauty in it, because we've talked about that, seeing the beauty in some of the yucky stuff. But I also think that, we have to take a look at the present moment in time and say, what can we do with what we know now?
Yeah.
And that's the key.
So in terms of making the most of the present, obviously the past and the future goals, they all come into play with what you're doing now.
Well, I like to see life as a puzzle, you know, and it's like every little piece comes together to make the gigantic picture.
Yeah.
So right now, what you're doing, where you are, who you're with, everything is meant to be. So if we can just accept that and say, this is all good. The weight I am is the weight I'm supposed to be. The job I have is right now the job I need to be. The person I'm with, I'm learning from, here's who I need to be with. And then we can accept it and let it go, and then the changes can come, but it won't seem like such a struggle and such a traumatic effect when change does happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yes,
well, it's
totally.
the journey, it's the experience, right? And most people are so caught up in, well, 10 years from now,
Oh my
that
gosh.
happened. It's a mess.
You know what it reminds me of?
Talk to me. What's it remind you of?
Well, people in the dating world. You know, they're so focused on the future and I want to get married and have a blah, blah, blah. But they're not focusing on what's going on now in their life.
And then once they are married, it's like, when am I having kids? And when I have kids, it's like, when am I getting a new job?
Or should I marry this dude?
It's crazy.
Think of what's happening on The Bachelor right now.
I could tell you.
That's what we're talking about. So be in the present is what we're really saying.
Yeah, be in the present moment.
That could be a New Year's goal.
Well, I think also setting goals and all that is great.
Yeah.
You want to work towards it, but you have to work today on your goal. Like if I want to be an author, I have to write the chapter today.
Right.
I can't worry about what's happening a year from now. So if you're writing, it's what can I write today? What information can I get down on that paper today? And then you're one step closer towards your goal, even though you don't even realize it because you're focusing present moment.
Is there ever a time when, you know, you said you are where you're supposed to be? Is there ever a time where that isn't where you're supposed to be, or that it's a negative situation and you have?
I don't believe so.
You should move on.
See, I personally don't believe there's a right or wrong. I just think there is. So I just think wherever you are is where you are meant to be. If your journey is going down one path, we were talking about journeys with Vincent. If your journey is going down one path, then that's your path.
That's
and
your
you're meant
journey.
to learn on that path. Sometimes it's a pretty rough road, right? Like
And usually the rougher is because you're not paying attention.
Exactly.
Because you've already been here before and you didn't learn that lesson.
Oh, we're getting deep here
Look
today.
how fast the present is gone
Philosophical.
already.
Good
Wow.
show
Well,
on
the good
daytime.
news is, in the future, we're going to take a 2-minute break, and then we'll be
No,
back
the present, we're taking a 2-minute break.
Okay.
And in the future,
Present.
we'll see you in 2 minutes.
I'm confused. We'll be right back, guys, with more with Angela Dacey.
Hey everybody, welcome to the present, which was the past and will soon be the future. Angela Dacey is here. She is a self-discovery expert. Angela, before we were sort of talking about being present and everything happening, let's talk a little bit about the future, because to some people we have like 359 days left before we all die. Well, if you're 2012er,
That's right.
Let's talk a little bit about the energy and everything that's happening right now? Because there is at least a sort of a conscious shift going on, I believe.
I totally think so. This 2012 thing, I think, can get a little bit out of hand, just like the millennium 2000, and all the computers were going to shut down
Oh,
and the end of the world.
goodness.
And you know, if people believe that, God bless you, believe it. I really don't think it's the end of the world, but I think it's maybe a new consciousness more than what we've known. And I'm starting to see in some ways there's a lot of tribulation, is that a word?
Yeah.
In relationships and in people's careers. It seems like everything's kind of bubbling and coming to the surface. And what I'm gathering, what I'm feeling, because who really knows?
Yeah.
But what I'm feeling is that this whole 2012 thing, it's almost like our energy is saying, okay, you know what? Smarten up. What do you want? What don't you want? What do you want to keep? What do you need to get rid of? And do it now. And then by that point, we're kind of on a new wave of thinking. Does that make some sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I was reading about how the Earth is wobbling, right, on its axis, and we wobble, and there's like it takes 25 years for the whole Earth to wobble one way, and 25,000 years.
Oh my
And then
goodness.
25,000 years to wobble back. So this whole 2012 thing is the end of a wobble, which means then we've gone, you know, this whole gamut. Now we're coming back, and so if you figure that that really is happening in space, that's got to affect us in some way, shape, or form energetically.
Yeah.
So I mean.
Right.
The whole 2012 thing, maybe it's not the end of the Earth, but it could be the end of a wobble.
Yeah.
See, I'd much rather it be the end of a wobble.
Exactly. So if you think of it as the end of a wobble, then really our shifts are going, okay, you've been thinking this way for so long, now it's time to start thinking this way. And that's the way I'm kind of perceiving it, which is why right now every client I see, so many of my friends are going through rough times.
I was going to ask you if you've been noticing with your
Huge.
clients,
Yeah.
just, you know, more,
Huge.
I don't know,
Big relationships.
different obstacles.
Massive relationship problems.
Yeah.
So many people right now separating that have never had problems, people divorcing,
Yeah.
people going through arguing that never have argued. It just seems to be a really interesting time, but it's calling everything to the surface. So if you're going through those turbulent times and you can say, all right, let's take a look at what's this teaching me? What do I want to
Yeah.
keep? What do I want to get rid of? What's going on? How's everything mirroring something in me? Then I think we're going to have a good shift happening around that 2012 time. So people don't have to be so scared of it.
Yeah.
And you bring up a good formula, and that's asking questions. Because often, you know, let's say you lose a relationship, you get fired. The first thing you say is, "Why me?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this?" Instead of asking the positive questions. So how important are those self
Why
questions
not
you
you?
ask? Why not you? Yeah.
I always like to say, why not
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
You know, we talked before about my son and how 2010 he started having seizures.
Right.
And we had that conversation, and I said, why not you? Why not you? Who better than you to teach others about epilepsy? Or who, you know, why not you? Why not you to go through relationship troubles or end up with cancer? Or, and it sounds horrible, but then you have to take a look at, wow, then if I'm chosen to go through this, that's huge. That's a blessing.
Yeah.
What can I do with this information? And then you're going to start seeing your stuff as a whole new light.
And you know what? It's interesting that you bring up, you know, health and a lot of people experiencing different types of illnesses or disease. And the ones who really thrive through it are those ones who know that that's their path.
Oh, completely.
It makes a difference.
Completely. Anytime you see somebody who's up for an award for just incredible self-achievement, or they've gone through the worst times and
Yeah.
have risen above it, right? So I think that's there you go, living in the present. They're
Yeah.
focused on right now.
So it's
Yeah.
not what you go through, but it's how you handle.
I totally
Getting
think it's
through
your
it.
reaction.
My strongest suggestion is for everyone to once a year get someone successful's autobiography and read it or play it in your car.
Ooh,
Because
cool.
you would never
Ooh, like
believe
who?
the turbulence that like some of the most amazing people have
Yeah.
gone through, and you're like, oh, oof.
That's nothing.
There's nothing.
Jeez, they went through that, forget about it.
Yeah.
You're totally right.
Put
Fantastic
things into
piece of advice.
perspective.
Fantastic piece of advice.
Well, thanks,
I'll do
Ange.
that.
That's great.
Good idea.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Please go to the website, angeladacey.com, for more information, and we will be right back with more Daytime.